In this video, we're going to go over an aspect of customer relations, and that's wellness checks, or welfare checks, too. That's an alternative name that a wellness check goes by. So, wellness checks are a check-in that law enforcement does on people that are in questionable condition, physically or mentally, emotionally, etc., to make sure that they have their welfare intact. So, I know that doing this myself for the last several years, working in customers' homes, interacting with them, there have been a handful of times where I've considered doing a wellness check, and one particular time early on in my journey that I actually did one. I called law enforcement and had them do a welfare check for this individual person because they just weren't in the mental space. I could tell that they weren't in a proper condition to be caring for themselves. They didn't have a loved one living with them. They didn't have a loved one even accessible to them. They could barely drive. They probably really shouldn't be had been driving at the time. Therefore, they can't really go to the store to get basic groceries or go to the doctor, or how do you really care for yourself in that situation? So, in that particular case, I did end up calling a welfare check. I think it ended up helping that person. I know earlier today I had an appointment, hence it kind of inspired me to make this video, where I was shocked. I went into this person's home, and they're a hoarder, right? It was in one of the 55 plus communities locally, and I had never seen a situation like this. Just tables of trash everywhere. Old newspapers, trash, tons of just random items, super unkept. The person was bedbound. They couldn't get up. I had to move around the house, try to find things for them. I couldn't do it because it was just a totally hectic situation. Initially I was thinking I need to call a welfare check for this person. Over time, their spouse came home. They mentioned having in-home care. Their uh, child, their son, in her case, had called her, and same with her granddaughter during my visit. So I knew that there were several pairs of eyes on her, both her spouse and her kids and grandkid, in her individual case. So those factors weighed into my decision to not call a welfare check in her case, because she had an in-home care company checking on her. She had family and loved ones going to the store and making sure she was getting by okay and things like that. So, but doing a welfare check is a very serious matter to consider, because it could mean it could impact the quality of living of someone, right? So making that decision can be a brave decision. It can be troubling to think about the implications of doing so. But it's an important thing that we have a unique perspective, seeing, going into people's homes, interacting with them. We can kind of see over the couple hour period of time that we're interacting with them, whether a welfare check is a quality checkup for them in their situation. So that's a key aspect of doing this customer relations, is just saying if someone is a proper mental and physical capacity to care for themselves, and therefore indicating if they need a quality needing a welfare check or not. So consider wisely.